My name is Sarah. I'm 23 years old. Life has shown me its darkest side. 5 years ago, I was a happy wife and mother to a little boy named Hamza. My husband and I lived in a small house full of dreams. We thought our life would always stay safe inside those walls, but destiny had a different plan. My husband passed away suddenly when he was just 28. One morning, he went to work, and in the evening, I got the news. He was gone forever. In one moment, my whole world shattered. I became a widow at just 23. I had a 3-year-old son clinging to me, asking, "Mama, where is Papa?" I had no answer. At first, people came to our house with tears and words of sympathy. Neighbors, relatives, even distant friends filled our rooms. They said, "We are here for you, Sarah." Don't worry, but as days turned into weeks, those people disappeared. Their words were only words. No one stayed to help a young widow struggling to survive. My husband's job gave me a small amount of money as support, but it was gone within months. Bills piled up, rent became due, and I had no income. I had never worked outside before, but now I had no choice. I started working as a maid in people's houses, washing dishes, scrubbing floors, and cooking food for others, while my own child sometimes went hungry. But the hardest part of my new life was not the poverty. It was the way people looked at me. When you are a young widow, people don't see your pain. They see your body. They see your weakness. They see an opportunity. At first, it was small things. The landlord would come to collect the rent and stand too close. His eyes scanned me in ways that made me shiver. He would say, "Sarah, you are too young to live alone. You need a man to take care of you." His smile was not kind. It was sharp, cutting, full of hidden meaning. One evening, when I told him I didn't have enough rent, he leaned closer and whispered, "There are other ways to pay, you know." My heart stopped. I quickly closed the door, trembling, holding Hamza in my arms. That night, I couldn't sleep. The walls of my own house felt unsafe. At work, it was no different. Some men in the houses where I cleaned would stare at me while I bent to pick things up. One day, a man accidentally brushed his hand against mine and said with a smile, "You work so hard, Sarah. You must get lonely at night, lonely." That word burned inside me. Did they think my loneliness was an invitation? Did they think being a widow made me an easy target? I came home late that night, my body aching, my spirit crushed. Hamza was asleep on the floor, waiting for me. I sat beside him, stroked his hair, and cried silently. I wanted to scream, to ask the world, is this what a widow deserves? To be seen as weak, as cheap, as someone's secret pleasure? But I had no voice. If I spoke out, people would blame me. They would say, "Sarah must have encouraged them." Why else would men behave like that? The worst part was when even so-called family friends changed. One relative visited me often after my husband's death. At first, he brought groceries and spoke kindly. I thought he was genuinely helping us. But slowly, his words changed. One night he said, "Sarah, you are still young. You need love. I can make you happy again." I froze. His hand reached toward mine. My chest tightened. My body screamed to run. I pulled back and said firmly, "Please leave." He looked at me with anger and said, "Don't act innocent. Without me, how will you survive?" That night, I locked the door and hugged Hamza tightly, his small arms wrapped around my neck, his innocent voice asking, "Mama, why are you crying?" How could I explain to a child that his mother's world was full of shadows? Days turned into months. My routine was simple: wake up early, prepare Hamza for school, then work in 3 different houses till evening. My body grew weaker, but I kept pushing, not for myself, but for him. But no matter where I went, the same whispers, the same stares, the same offers followed me. At 23, my beauty, which should have been a blessing, became a curse. Men thought my smile was an invitation, my silence was agreement, my struggles were a chance to take advantage. I began covering myself even more, avoiding eye contact, speaking less. Still, it didn't stop. Once, while returning home at night, a group of young men followed me down the street, calling out dirty jokes. I held Hamza's hand tightly and walked faster, my heart pounding. That night, I realized how unsafe I truly was. Hamza was only 8 then, but he noticed. He would hold my hand protectively, saying, "Mama, don't worry. I will grow up and take care of you." His innocent words gave me strength, but deep down, I was breaking. The world saw me as a widow, a weak woman, an object. Only my son saw me as a mother. Only he understood my pain. But this is not the end of my story, because even in the darkest struggles, light can appear. Hamza, my little boy, would grow up to become more than I could ever imagine. And that is where my life began to change. As Hamza grew older, he became more determined to help me. He studied hard and worked part-time to support me. He would give me money and say, "Mama, buy something for yourself." He was my rock. When Hamza got a scholarship to study abroad, I was overjoyed. He promised to take care of me from afar, and he did. He sent me money and supported me. Years later, Hamza graduated and came back home. He got a high-paying job and took care of me. People who once ignored us were now congratulating us. But Hamza didn't care about them. He only cared about me. In that moment, I realized that love between a mother and son is stronger than any struggle. Hamza gave me dignity back. He showed me that I'm not weak, I'm a survivor. Widows deserve respect, not exploitation. They are mothers, sisters, and daughters who deserve kindness and compassion. Hamza's story is proof that one act of kindness and determination can change lives. I'm grateful for my son, who stood by me and lifted me up. Thanks for listening to the stories. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Emma English Practice for more practical and emotional life stories like this.